Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how I think US banks are going to try to put their stranglehold on US digital asset exchanges. Okay, so where you can buy crypto, because I believe that they want to not necessarily push out every single US exchange, but I think they want to choke them with as much regulation, taxation, whatever-ation you want to come up with, so that they either so they actually just want to not do business here in the US so the banks can take over, so they can take over. Anyways, so that's what we're going to be talking about in this video, so let's jump into it. Mr. Brian Brooks here. And if you don't know who this guy is, here's a little bit of background. He was the office of the comptroller of the currency, okay? But prior to becoming that, and I'll go into a little bit more detail what that is. Prior to joining the OCC, he was actually the chief legal officer of Coinbase. Okay, and if you guys don't know who Coinbase is one of the largest digital asset exchanges, crypto exchanges here in the US. Okay, so he was part of Coinbase for a while, where he headed the legal, compliance, audit, investigations, and government relation functions for the company, which served 20 million customers. And he held his position since September 2018. Okay, so that's where he was before he joined the OCC. All right. And was that an accident? No, he was placed there for obvious reasons. You know, and one thing that you have to understand, all these people know each other. All these higher ups know each other. All these guys who work in some of the largest banks in the world, some of the largest institutions in the world, you know, they're getting placed all over the financial scape like chess pieces. Okay, wherever they need them to go, they go. All right, so let's just understand that. So he went and he was the chief legal officer of Coinbase for a while, served his duty, probably got his information, learned the inner workings of them, of what they do. When he left there, he joined the OCC. So he was at the OCC from May 29th, 2020 to January 14th, 2021. It's not really a very long time. Okay, so they placed him there. Well, being the OCC, and basically, let me go ahead and read this part so you guys know what the OCC is. The OCC, the Office of the Comptroller, supervises nearly 1,200 national banks, federal saving associations, and federal branches and agencies of foreign banks that conduct approximately 70% of all banking business in the U.S. So essentially, they're in charge of all U.S. banks. While he was in office, he made it cleared the road for all U.S. banks to custody cryptocurrencies, okay, while he was there. All right, so remember, he worked at Coinbase before, left there, came to the OCC, and then gave the green light to all U.S. banks to custody cryptocurrencies. All right, okay, let's go on to the next thing. Actually, I think this is an actual article from July 22nd, 2020. The title of the article is OCC Allows Banks to Hold Cryptocurrency Assets for Safekeeping. Let's read a little bit of the article. Washington, the U.S. regulator of national banks, issued an interpretive letter giving all U.S. banks the all clear to hold cryptocurrency assets on behalf of their customers. The letter, dated Wednesday, clarifies the stance by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency that bank custody services, which have long been understood to include holding digital assets, can extend to cryptographic keys and other crypto-related assets. Quote, we conclude a national bank may provide these cryptocurrency custody services on behalf of customers, including by holding the unique cryptographic keys associated with the cryptocurrency, Jonathan Gold, Senior Deputy Controller and Chief Counsel, wrote in the letter, which was addressed to an unnamed bank that had sought the opinion. This letter also reaffirms the OCC's position that national banks may provide permissible banking services to any lawful business they choose, including cryptocurrency businesses, so long as they effectively manage the risks and comply with applicable law. Okay, so when I heard this news, I knew that they were gearing up for something, right? And it was always in the back of my mind. I always thought to myself, how are the banks just going to let these huge exchanges that just make hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars in fees? Okay, so when you're doing business on an exchange, you're buying or selling crypto or trading crypto, you get hit with fees. Customers, investors pay fees, and these exchanges reap those fees. Why would banks just sit on the sidelines and not want a piece of that action? Well, when I heard this news, it started painting a picture for me. Now fast forward to 2021, let's move on to the next article. Binance US. Okay, so before we get into this, Brian Brooks, when he left the office of the comptroller, guess who became the CEO for Binance US? Okay, so Binance was one of the original exchanges that I started investing in, started utilizing back in 2015, but it was owned by China. So it was Binance China. Okay, so I don't remember the exact year they actually implemented a US version of Binance US. So guess who left and went to become the CEO for Binance US after he left the office of the comptroller? Yes, Brian Brooks. Okay, so he was there not very long. I think this article actually tells us how long he was actually there. Well, he actually resigned after 3 months into the job. So that's the title of this article. Let's get into this by Reuters. Binance US CEO Brian Brooks resigns just 3 months into a job. So why is this guy just bouncing around everywhere? First, he starts off. Actually, he was in the banking system. I know he worked for Fannie Mae, and I want to say One West Bank. Okay, so he was part of the banking system. Left there, went to Coinbase. Left Coinbase, went to the office of the comptroller, and now he's in Binance. Was only in Binance US for 3 months, and then leaves the job. So, what's going on there? Remember that whole chess thing, how they place them where they need them? So let's jump into the article. August 6, Reuters, Brian Brooks, chief executive of the U.S. arm of global cryptocurrency exchange Binance, said on Friday he had resigned just 3 months after taking up the role. The former U.S. banking regulator and crypto enthusiast is resigning at a time when regulators in Hong Kong, Britain, Germany, Japan, Italy, and Thailand have cracked down on Binance due to worries over investor protection. Watchdogs globally also fret that the boom in cryptocurrencies is aiding money laundering and increasing systemic risks. Okay, so let's just stop right there. So let's go ahead and read that paragraph again from the beginning. The former U.S. banking regulator and crypto enthusiast is resigning at a time when regulators in Hong Kong, Britain, Germany, Japan, Italy, and Thailand, and fast forward to I think there actually have been other countries that have come out against Binance. Binance being, I think they are the largest crypto exchange in the world. Why all of a sudden are they getting so much static against them? Okay, that goes back to my theory that they're trying to take down or blackball a lot of these exchanges because the banks want this business. The US banks positioned themselves, they probably started positioning themselves years ago, but publicly last year, what we were just discussing, the ability to custody crypto. Okay, so this is strategic. Quote, letting you all know that I have resigned as CEO of Binance US, Brooks wrote on Twitter. Despite differences over strategic direction, I wish my former colleagues much success, exciting new things to come. Oh, he knows exactly what direction they're going in, right? Let's see if there's anything else in this article we can go over. Let's see. Responding to regulatory pressure, Binance has curbed some services on cryptocurrency bets, highly leveraged positions, and trading with tokens linked to shares, and has pledged to beef up its compliance staffing. Brooks, who was acting U.S. comptroller of the currency from May 2020 to January 2021, joined Binance US as chief executive officer at the beginning of May. Prior to joining the regulator, Brooks had been chief legal officer of Coinbase Global. During his time as acting comptroller, Brooks led efforts to provide regulatory clarity for stablecoins and digital asset custody. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. So, so recently, this is on June 28, 2021, UK financial watchdog bans crypto exchange Binance. Okay, so now they're getting banned in the UK. All right, so we talked about those other countries banning Binance, the largest crypto exchange in the world. Now the UK bans them. Let's go and jump into the article. Britain's financial regulator has banned Binance, one of the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchanges, from offering certain services in the country. The Financial Conduct Authority said, which is the FCA in the UK, the Financial Conduct Authority said in a statement on Saturday that Binance Markets Limited is not permitted to undertake any regulated activity in the UK. No other entity in the Binance Group holds any form of UK authorization, registration, or license to conduct regulated activity in the UK, the regulator added. Trading cryptocurrencies is not directly regulated in the United Kingdom, but other related activities such as selling derivatives do require approval. The move against Binance is the latest in a series of crackdowns by regulators around the world that have rattled crypto investors and caused prices to decline. Okay, that's that. Moving on. This actually came out, I believe this article came out today, August 13th, 2021. And this is, let's see if they mention his name. I always forget his name. This is the head of Binance right here, Changpeng Zhao. The Binance CEO, Changpeng Zhao, this guy. Title of this article, Binance discontinues South Korean won trading pairs and payment options. The crypto exchange will discontinue Korean language support and remove won trading pairs. These guys are just getting beat up left and right. Let's read some of the key points. Crypto exchange Binance said it will discontinue trading pairs and payment options using the South Korean won effective immediately. The exchange announced Friday changes to its product offerings in South Korea, including the discontinuation of P2P merchant applications and Korean language support. Won trading pairs will be removed at 11 a.m. UTC today, with users advised to complete all trades and remove related advertisements by 10 a.m. Binance said it intends to proactively comply with local regulations, part of its recent attempt to take the initiative in its regulatory positioning, as CEO Changpeng Zhao has indicated. South Korea is not among the long list of countries whose financial watchdogs have issued warnings or notices that Binance is not permitted to be operating in its jurisdiction, though the regulatory landscape there is far from certain. The country's financial intelligence unit last month told foreign crypto exchanges they have until September 24th to register in line with the new anti-money laundering laws or face blocked access and possible criminal inquiries. Binance announced in December 2020 the closure of its South Korean affiliate due to low usage and volume. Okay, so that's that. These guys are getting their butts kicked. Lastly, Gary Gensler, this crazy guy right... what the hell happened to him? Okay, this crazy guy right here, okay? Gary Gensler, he is the head of the SEC. And if you guys have been following what this guy's been doing, you probably don't like him. I don't like him either. Just straight up, I don't like this guy. SEC Chief Gary Gensler says crypto will become mainstream only if clear rules are in place, as he plans tighter regulation. This guy wants to hide under the guise of he's looking out for us. He's looking out for us investors, when he's really looking for a power grab. He wants to control everything in the crypto market. Okay, anything that happens here in the US becomes a crypto. He wants to wrap his sweaty little hands around, and he wants to control it, and he wants to hide behind quote unquote regulations to protect the investors. Key points. SEC Chair Gary Gensler said crypto would take off only if there were clear rules around the market, which he absolutely does the worst job of, is regulation clarity. I follow this guy on Twitter, and he's asked a ton of questions, and I get it. He can't answer all questions, but as far as him putting on official clarity around, whether or not Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP or any of these cryptos are securities, something that he should be able to answer, nothing. Crickets. I have no idea what this guy does. He said investors needed more protection from fraud and suggested he wanted to focus on exchanges. He also said the SEC was looking at least 7 crypto areas, including DeFi, stablecoins, and ETFs. Okay, all of which are huge power grabs, and this guy wants to control decentralized finance. He wants to say whether or not stablecoins are a good or a bad thing, and he wants to control exchange-traded funds. Okay. Gary Gensler, the new Securities and Exchange Commission chief, said crypto could become mainstream only if its regulators laid out clear rules, and he's setting his sights on stricter regulation for the $1.6 trillion digital asset market. So if the market is still at 1.6, it might be a little bit more. And this guy knows exactly where the market is headed. It's going to go. Let's take gold, for example. Gold's market cap is at about $8 or $9 trillion. Crypto is going to surpass that immensely. Okay, 30, 40, 50, 60 trillion dollar market, maybe even more with derivatives alone. Okay, it's going to skyrocket past that. This guy knows it, the government knows it, the banks know it. That's why they're trying to get their power grab. In a wide-ranging interview with Bloomberg published on Tuesday, Gensler said he believed investors needed more protection against fraud. He also said the SEC was looking at least 7 areas of the market, including decentralized finance, DeFi, and stablecoins. And he suggested he wanted to focus on crypto exchanges. They kind of just said that above. I don't know why they repeated themselves. Gensler, who taught a cryptocurrency course at MIT, which I've actually seen his course. His course is actually available on YouTube if you guys want to check that out. And he knows his stuff. He knows what Bitcoin and the related technologies can do and what they are. He knows exactly what they are. That's why it's kind of scary to have him in that position. But they put him there on purpose. This is chess. Gensler, who taught a cryptocurrency course at MIT, said he was neutral or even intrigued by the technology, but was not neutral about investor protection. We have a role as a nation to protect those investors against fraud. This is what I cannot stand. I hate when they hide behind that terminology. Investor protection, investor fraud. Investors should have, if you're an investor, then you take on the responsibility of your actions. You don't need dad hanging over your shoulder saying, oh, you shouldn't do that. No, that's BS. Okay, so these guys want to hide behind that. It's clear as day. You don't give 2 shits about investors, okay? Gensler said he believed digital assets could boost economic progress and become more widely used. But he said that it's only with bringing things inside and sort of clearly within our public policy goals that a technology has a chance of broader adoption. Gensler said it was a bit like driving, which took off only when the government laid out clear rules of the road. The former Goldman Sachs partner said that the SEC was doing lots of work on digital assets and looking at least 7 key issues. Okay, they already mentioned that. And Gensler told Bloomberg that regulating crypto exchanges could be the best way to gain more control over cryptocurrencies. In May, he urged Congress to work on legislation to give the SEC more oversight of trading venues. A key issue when it comes to crypto regulation is whose jurisdiction the sector falls under. Regulators broadly think Bitcoin is more like a commodity than a security, likely putting the biggest cryptocurrency outside of the SEC's remit. Continuing with the article, but Gensler said DeFi lending could come under SEC oversight as it often offers a specific interest rate return. He also said platforms that pull digital assets could be akin to mutual funds, meaning the SEC could regulate them. The reason he wants control over DeFi lending, decentralized finance, is because there are some platforms that will offer you loaning products, and you'd be able to leverage your crypto, and it's usually about 40 to 50%. So let's say you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, you can actually leverage that Bitcoin up to 40 to 50%. So you actually borrow $40,000, $50,000, and the interest rates will blow away any traditional bank. So a traditional bank's going to charge you, let's just use an average number of 5 to 7% interest for your loan, and then you have some of these crypto lending platforms that'll offer you half of that interest. Where are you going to go? This is exactly why they want to control that. It's because they know that the banks are going to lose business. Okay, and that's what it's about. They don't care about investor protection. They want to control everything. Okay, so that's this guy, Gary Gensler. If that tells you anything about him, he is the front puppet, the sock puppet for the government. He's the quote-unquote head of the SEC. He's just doing their bidding, and they want full control. And this guy is at the controls. So there it is, guys. There's my opinion on a few things and why I think that, why I know the government and banks, they're going through regulations and trying to pass laws to push out these crypto exchanges because they want to not miss out on all that money that's going to be made. So do some more research on this guy, Gary Gensler. Do some more research on Brian Brooks. Start following the space, doing research on the space. If you guys haven't invested yet, you need to know all these things, so start researching this stuff. Subscribe to my channel. I'll start making more in-depth videos like this one. Please like and subscribe, and hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.